everyone. My name is Dr. Valerie Akinwande, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. Today I'm going to answer some questions for you, so let's go ahead and get started. Question number 1. What kind of physical therapist are you, and what kind of training did that involve? So I'm a physical therapist that specializes in women's health. To get to specialize in women's health as a physical therapist, first of all, you have to go through PT school, and that's 3 years after college. And then to specialize in women's health, there are several ways you can do it. The way that I did it was to do hands-on training, didactic, and also take examinations. So I took a total of about 9 exams, combination between didactic and written exams. And then I also had to write 2 case reports on patients, personal patients that I treated in the clinic. Question number 2, what does a typical day look like? So I'm very fortunate. As a physical therapist, one of the reasons why I chose this profession is the flexibility to make my own schedule. So I make my own schedule. I work in a small outpatient setting, and I see about 4 or 5 patients a day. When I go into the clinic and I see a patient, I typically will treat or see a patient for 45 minutes to an hour. And in that session, it's just me and the patient in a private room, because most of the time they have to get at least naked from the waist down, and so it's a very private and quiet environment. There's a lot of patient education involved, and my goal most of the time with working with patients is to integrate whatever I'm teaching them into their lifestyle. So there's a lot that gets involved. I would say 50% of my caseload is women in their 20s and 30s who have had 1 or 2 or a few children, all the way to women in their 60s and 70s that are postmenopausal and having issues like incontinence. So yes, I see pretty much a 50-50 split. Question number 3. What made me decide to go into my field? Did I always know that it was what I wanted to do? So I'm going to answer this question with the Cliff's Notes version of it. And the short answer is yes, I always knew that I wanted to go into medicine. However, I didn't know that I would end up being a physical therapist. And I would say that that idea was first born while I was in graduate school getting a master's degree. I did my undergraduate degree at Baylor University, and then I went to Texas Women's for a master's degree, where I continued on in biology and biochemistry. And for my thesis, I developed an exercise and nutritional intervention program to treat childhood obesity, and that's where it was first born. And then after I graduated from graduate school, I moved to Oklahoma, where I was teaching at a community college, and there my supervisor happened to be the former dean of the PT school in the city. And so she talked to me and said, I think you'd make a great physical therapist. And I started shadowing, and shortly after got accepted, and that's kind of how that journey was started. Which courses in college or high school did you find to be most beneficial for preparing you for your career path? So hands down, my bread and butter is anatomy and physiology. Without that course, most of what I do just can't even be done. I didn't necessarily love it in undergrad, but I taught it as a teacher at the community college, or a professor at the community college, and that is where I began to really love it. In PT school, I loved the course biomechanics, simply because it takes that foundation of anatomy and helps you understand movement from that perspective. And then I would say for anyone who's looking to go into my field, any psychology type courses are awesome, because you're spending a great deal of time with the patient, and so it's super useful to understand how people think, because you're going to be talking to them about lots of different life issues. They open up to you about many things, spending so much time with you. Question number 5, which extracurricular activities did you participate in outside of your regular coursework? So in high school, I was a cheerleader, and that's what I did pretty much the entire time. And then when I got to college, I pledged Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and that took a great deal of my time. We did a lot of service projects in the community, and outside of that, I was really focused on school. And so I would say to anyone who's looking into the health professions, really choose your extracurriculars wisely. And by wisely, I just mean choose something that you're passionate about. Choose things that you know you'll enjoy that kind of help you forget about the hustle and bustle and the grind of studying, because you're going to need those things. You'll continue to do those things even after you have a career. How did you maintain focus to study for exams and coursework in professional school? I would say I kept a calendar. The calendar is my saving grace, and it helped me to focus on the goal. So down to the days of school I had left, I pretty much always knew when the end was coming. And so keep a calendar, I made a lot of small goals for myself, and then I celebrated myself often. I'd buy a nice slice of cake or my favorite candy after a really big exam, because I needed to stay motivated. When you're in professional school, it can be draining and take a lot of energy out of you. So find things that you enjoy to do to stay motivated as well. I'm a wife, and I've been married to my husband for 9 years, and we have 3 children, 3 stepchildren. They're small. My kids are ages 3, 4, and 5. I've got 2 girls and a boy, and I love being a mom and having a family. Okay, so finalizing with key takeaway points, I would say the key thing to remember is that you can do any and everything that you put your mind to. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. People are going to speak to you out of their own fears. When there is something that's birthed inside of your heart, don't lose sight of that. Focus on your goals. You can do anything. And I love Michelle Obama's Becoming book, because it's just a reminder that you're always becoming something. And as I mentioned earlier, I was a community college professor for several years. I did it for almost 7 years. And now, even though I'm working as a physical therapist in the clinic setting for most of my time, I still find opportunities to educate in the community. I hope to one day teach exercise classes for pre and postpartum patients, so prenatal patients that are pregnant, teach them pregnancy safe exercises, because I know that there is a great need for it. So I hope that you learned a little something from my video, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for listening.